Hello everyone, my name is Ben, amateur call sign K0BJJ, and you're watching Spotter Jutting. Now before we get into today's video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more from Spotter Jutting. Now on today's video, we're going to be talking prep for an emergency activation like storm spotting, specifically storm spotting. Now, I did have this nice, all cool presentation PowerPoint. You know, everyone loves death by PowerPoint. But that computer back there didn't want to cooperate with the file. So I'm just going to be reading and presenting to you, which you're going to get my facials and stuff a little bit better doing that anyway. So let me grab my notes, because I know what order it's in my head, but that's not the order I have down for you guys, and we're going to get into it. So, yeah, here, our nice little PowerPoint. I'll read with you. I'll read through with you. All right. So the first point I want you to get into before you're going out on a storm spot is know your area of operation. Are you going to be a county spotting for county-wide, region-wide? And with that, know your location. Study maps of the area you're going to be in. Now, there's some spotters that are out there that are, you know, they go state to state stuff. They obviously can't study in advance, but if you're a small area spotter like me, we have the opportunity to study our locations, geographics, and everything. And if you hear laundry going on in the back, it's Bluebird back there getting laundry done. We're a little backed up, so if you hear that, just know that's what's going on there. So study the area, scout the area if possible. Know where your rivers are. Rivers are important to know where they're at during a storm spot, because if you have flash flooding, what is one area you don't want your escape route to be on? You don't want a tornado on the one side, a flooded river on the other side, and now you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You either drowned in the flooded river or you get sucked up by a tornado. So if you know where that is in advance, you can position yourself in a safer position. Know your radio blind spots. If you're using a team, if you're out with a team like me, we use a repeater. Know where the holes are in the repeater. Again, avoid those areas. Communicate anything if you don't have communications. See if I got there. Oh yeah, know your terrain. Know your terrain. I already talked about rivers, but are you going to be on fields, have line of sight for 10 miles? Or are you going to be in hills and have line of sight for a mile? If you're chasing a tornadic cell, you want to give yourself some distance. You might not want to have trees blocking your view of the cell coming on. So know where you're going to set up. Scout these locations. Find your escape routes. Test your escape routes under ideal circumstances. If you can't use your escape route when it's sunny and 75 and nothing's going on, I guarantee you will not be able to use that escape route when you got a EF whatever tornado and you need it. So that's on location. And then I had this nice little map, and maybe I'll put that map up right here. And that is my area of operation here in Jasper County, Iowa. The next thing I want to talk about is the go bag. And when I talk about the go bag is when you hear this wonderful sound. The bag you are actually grabbing as you're running out the door. What's in it? I have a go bag. Actually, you need to get it prepped for this next season. But this is what I would recommend in your go bag. A high-vis vest. I have a lovely pink high-vis vest. If you make fun of me for wearing pink, that's fine, but I guarantee you're going to see my pink vest when you're driving down the road and I'm sitting on the side of it, standing in front of my car. You're going to be able to see me. First aid supplies. Now, I keep first aid supplies in my vehicle, my storm chase rig, which we will get to in the next slide. But if you don't have that, keep some, Band-Aids, gauze, disinfectant, stuff like that in your go bag so that way you have it when you need it. Food and water. If you're going to get hungry on the chase, I mean, you could always stop at a gas station or something, but that takes time. If you're going one position to the next and next and next, take it with you. I always have water with me. I don't eat when I'm on the chase. I don't also chase normally all day. I'm going after certain cells. I'm out for a couple hours. I'm good with some water. Another thing you're going to want to bring is a notebook, especially if you're going to be running mobile net control. If it's you and a couple of your guys, you don't have a actual net controller, but you're relaying the information. You're going to want something to be able to write that information down from your team, so that way when you call up 911, not emergency number, 911 emergency, whatever your agreement is with your county, or the National Weather Service, you can relay the report as you received it from your team. Extra equipment chargers, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I use a phone for recording, and I use a phone for my radar. Hopefully I'm going to be getting a GoPro this year, because that would be a lot better for you guys. But equipment chargers, so that way, you know, battery dies, you have your equipment. If I lose my phone, I have my radio. But my phone's my radar, so if I lose my phone, I can't see what the storm's doing. It's no longer safe for me to chase. I need to get out, which I don't want. I want to be out there, you know, providing a service to my community. Bring an HT or a handy talkie, and I don't have mine down here. A little handheld radio. Those of you that are in ham radio, you know what an HT is. Bring one, because if you roll that car and you lose your phone, but you can get to your go bag and you can get to your HT, you can still communicate. When all else fails, radio. It's what we live by with the ham radio community. When everything else fails, radio. We don't need repeaters. We don't need cell towers. We just need a charged radio. Basico radio repair kit. So my Basico repair kit is some black tape, knife, what else do I have then? Extra connectors. So I used to run my HT into an external antenna, which I have, you can see it dangling, right? The connector dangling right over here. I'm not good at that. There, that cord, that's onto a mag mount antenna that's hooked up to that beam. I used to run that, connect my HT up to that. Extra connectors for that. Never know when one fails, one breaks. And I've had them fail and break. Any specialized identification, if you plan on going into a private area where you need a special identification to get in there, grab it. And then any special equipment you may need. Maybe you have some wind speed monitor or barometer, whatever you think you're going to need. Make sure that's in your go bag, ready to go, so you just grab it and you're headed out the door. The spotting rig. Now, I call everything rigs when it comes to vehicles. If it's a vehicle for a purpose, it's a rig. If you're with me and we have an injured person and I'm telling you to call a rig, I'm telling you to call an ambulance. If I've got someone detained at work, because some of you might not know I'm security, and I want them to go to jail, I'm probably telling you to call police and tell them they might need to send a rig. A rig is a general term for me, but your spotting rig. So my spotting vehicle, currently a Chevy Traverse, gonna be changing up very quickly here soon. We'll let you see that one in a video coming up. Maintenance on it. Check the oil. Don't be like some people that might let the oil go dry in the car and almost kill your car. Check your tire pressures. Don't want to have a flat tire. Don't want to start a chase on a flat tire. You might get one on the chase, that's one thing, but I mean, preventive maintenance. Check all your radio equipment. Your equipment, your car radio. Make sure you have your frequencies programmed into it. Your primary, your secondary, your emergency. I monitor when I'm chasing a primary frequency, which is the one we're spotting on. I have a secondary emergency simplex frequency, that I can switch to. If we were to lose repeaters, we switch over to that emergency frequency. I might have that on in general. I also have the National Weather Service weather beacon in my radio, which if for some odd reason my phone's not working, I may resort to. I have a couple of mutual aid frequencies in there also. I'm covered. I've got a dozen or so frequencies that during an activation I could access. During the 2020 derecho and on August 10th, I was monitoring the Grimes repeater over in Polk County. Before that derecho hit me, I knew what to expect. I knew it was 50 plus mile an hour winds. I knew that there's possible tornado spin-ups with this because that's what was being put out over there. I knew it was a ton of tree damage. I knew what was coming before it hit me. I had a 15-minute heads up. And when it hit me, I gave the rest of my team a 5-minute heads up. So I probably took 90 mile per hour winds on the shoulder that day. Check the radio, check the status and condition of any other equipment you have. I run a GPS. I have a dash cam now. Make sure that's all up and running before you need it. So not when you're headed out the door. This is, okay, we got storms coming this week. Double check everything over. And now we're going to get on to probably the most single important safety aspect of this video. Know your position. Give a general call out. If you're spotting with a team like me, what our protocol is we're going to predetermine while we're in or out generally where we're going. When we get out there, I'm going to call in my net control. I'm between this street and this street on this street. Or I'm at the intersection of this street and this street. Make sure someone knows at all times where you are. This is very important because if you get hit by something and you are unable to communicate, now they know where you were and they would know where to start looking, know where to send first responders. We're going to do this smart, so you're never going to have to worry about them sending a search party after you. But accidents happen. We are talking about the weather. The weather is unpredictable. That's why we're out there. That's why we are spotting, because you cannot predict these things. So relay your position. Now, if I go out solo, no team, my emergency contact is standing off camera right over there. Her name's Bluebird. I'm going to send her a text message. I am positioned between here and here. She knows something. If all of a sudden she doesn't hear from me for X amount of time, she can't get a hold of me, she can send someone out that way. Or I'm going to get on social media, post on my Facebook, hey, I'm storm spotting, this is where I'm at. And I'm going to do that every time I move. I move from this area, now I'm going over, I'm set up in this area. I'm letting, every time I move, I'm going to let someone know where I end up. And generally, when I'm with a team, I'll let them know I'm moving from my location also, so that way they know I'm headed somewhere else. Face your vehicles into the wind. I want you to think about something. If you take your car right now, go down the highway, say there's no cops, and you put the pedal to the floor, what's the fastest your car will go? Because I can guarantee you that your car, when you're going that fast on the road, that wind over the front of your car, it can withstand that same amount of wind sitting still. If you can drive 150 mile an hour down the road into a headwind, you've got probably over 200 mile, let's say you got a 50 mile an hour headwind. You got 200 miles per hour worth of wind coming over your car. They're aerodynamically made to withstand those winds. Point your vehicle nose into the wind. The only thing you have to worry about at that point is debris. The wind is not going to hurt you. Now, I'm not saying block a road. If you have to take a wind gust sideways, that's one thing. But maybe you should alter your position then so you can nose into the wind. The 2020 derecho had wind gusts of over 130 mile per hour in the Cedar Rapids area. What happens if you get sideswiped by 130 mile per hour wind? A lot of cars ended up rolling. I took 90, when it hit us, it was in excess of 90 mile an hour. I don't have an exact location, I'm just looking at the wind gusts. It hit me, I had about a 90 mile per hour wind. hit me from the west, northwest, mainly west. My car was rocking. I thought my car was going to roll right then, but I had a mostly headwind. It kept me stable enough. Go back to my notes here. Yeah, I think I covered all that. The most important thing is be safe when you're out there. If you're dead or you're injured, you're helping nobody. So let's be smart while we're out there spotting. Take the good position, know your terrain, point your car into the wind, relay your location. A dead spotter helps no one. A smart spotter sees that funnel cloud, calls National Weather Service or 911, and gets sirens sounding. People get to basements, people get to stay alive. That's what we do. And we got to do it smart. With that, thank you all for watching. I'm Ben, K0BJJ for Spotter Jutting, and we'll see you on the next chase.